Hello and welcome to this hour-long mindful flow practice. We're going to begin today in child's pose. So if you're not sure, come toward the back of the mat, spread the knees nice and wide, perhaps even mat width apart, and the big toes will touch together. And then just gently start to walk your fingertips forwards, lengthening out through the arms, bringing your forehead all the way down toward the mat. And if your forehead doesn't naturally touch down to the floor, you may want to pop a block or maybe even a cushion underneath. And if it feels like a bit of an extreme angle for your knees or your hips, you can always pop a block between your bottom and your heels, or you could come up into more of a puppy pose with the bottom stacking over the top of the knees and the heart space melting down toward the floor. So just take it to wherever feels most comfortable for you. As you arrive in that space, allow your eyes to gently close. And just take an opportunity here to begin to connect in with your breath. So just incrementally allowing the breath to deepen. Each inhale you take is slightly longer. Every exhale you take is slightly fuller until you're breathing at your fullest capacity. And notice where the breath travels to in the body. It might be traveling down toward the belly, expanding through the rib cage. See if you can draw the breath into the middle back ribs. We often think about the breath moving sideways as the rib cage expands. But think about trying to send the breath into the back of your body as well. Keep the eyes closed so that the drishti is looking inwards. And notice how it feels. Drishti moving inwards and breath moving deeply. Unclench your jaw. And have a sense of just feeling really centered here. So regardless of what's been going on before or after this practice, you're able to just arrive in your body as it is now. Feeling into the sensations, the emotions that you're experiencing, but as best as you can, not getting caught up in them, not getting lost in the stories of your thoughts of your mind. So this time when we just pause and connect with our breath, we're almost making a kind of mental muscle memory. So at any point during our practice today, if your mind is starting to just wander off elsewhere, going on to a bit of a tangent, then you can be reminded of this sense of centering. The way in which when we connect with a deep breath, we're able to become very present in the moment and in our body. And we're also going to explore drishti today, our gaze. Because depending on where our eyes are looking, it will really determine where our energy is flowing to. And in this case, our eyes are closed and we can really get that deep sense of feeling what's going on within. So just take a couple more moments here. And if there's an intention that you wish to work with today for your practice, maybe it's somebody that you love, Maybe it's yourself, or perhaps it's a cause that you're passionate about. Just take a little bit of time right now to tune into that intention. Invite it into your heart space. Allow it to be your motivation during this practice today. And then when you're ready, start to press the palms of your hands into the mat so that your elbows lift up and away from the floor. Have a sense that you're gently drawing the shoulder blades down the back toward the waist, broadening the upper back. Take a deep inhale. And on your exhale, begin to walk your hands over to the right side of your mat for a side stretch. Relax the neck, let your head hang super heavy. And if you want to deepen the stretch here, then maybe pile your left hand on top of your right. Deep breaths in. And as you breathe out, think about really trying to stretch your bottom back towards your heels as your fingertips reach in the opposite direction. So an opportunity to take even more space into your side body. Two more expansive breaths here. And on your exhale, gently walk the hands back toward the center and then all the way over to the left side of your mat. So sit bones stretching back toward the heels, forehead coming down to contact the mat. And if you want to deepen your side stretch, the right hand rests on top of the left. Keep your neck soft and relaxed. Keep your face relaxed. And simply feel as though you're breathing into the right hand side of your body. Give yourself a little bit of time and space for the muscle fibers in right side body to lengthen and open you up. Two more breaths. Okay, well done. Start to walk the hands back to center, press palms into the floor, find your way up onto your all fours. Take a moment to ensure that your shoulders stack over your wrists, that your knees are underneath your hips, fingers are spread nice and wide. Let's warm up the spine just by taking a few rounds through cat-cow. So when you're ready, take a deep inhale, roll the shoulders back and together and allow the belly to descend toward the floor. The gaze moves forwards. On the out-breath, press the mat away and arch between your shoulder blades. Neck is soft and head is heavy. Inhale, heart space drops down. Tailbone lifts, gaze rises. And exhale, press through the palms to round through the back of your body. Keep that going and just move in time with your natural rhythm of breath. Again here, try and close the eyes and just see how it feels to take the awareness inwards. What can you detect in your body? Any tension, any tightness? And if you want to start to freestyle your movement slightly here, just to work out any little aches or niggles that you're finding in your body today, then feel free to make some circles through the torso. Maybe you're moving forwards or backwards. It could be that you're just taking a few little rotations through the head if you've got any discomfort or tension in your neck space. So just closing the eyes like you're the only person in the room, just moving in a very, very intuitive way. And then gradually finding your way back to stillness, to that space midway between cat and cow. Okay, now from here, let's just begin to take the shoulders slightly forwards of the line of our wrists. So the hips move forwards, we're drawing in the belly. Hold it here, hover. Deep inhale. Now exhale, come halfway down. So the torso lines up with the elbows and we pause. Squeeze the shoulders back and together so there's space between the ears and the shoulders. Keep the elbows hugging tight into side ribs. Take another deep breath in. And then breathe out and come all the way down onto your belly. Good. Slide the elbows forwards until they line up underneath your shoulders and grip the mat with your fingertips for Sphinx. Deep inhale. The heart space energetically draws forwards between the elbows and the shoulders slide away from the ears to create more space in the chest and in the upper back. Soften the chin inwards to create length through the back of your neck. And again, you can either look down toward the floor in front of you or maybe even close your eyes. Another deep inhale, moving into your back middle ribs. Opening up through your thoracic spine. And then gently come all the way down onto your belly. Hands are underneath the shoulders. Curl under the toes and press all the way up and back into downward facing dog. So the bottom rises nice and high. The hands are spread super wide. And we take a moment or two here just to pedal out through the feet to begin to open up the hamstrings, the calves. And again, see if you can move in time with your breath. So as you breathe in, maybe one heel reaches toward the floor and on the exhale, you swap sides. If there's any other movements that you need to make, a wiggle through the hips, a shake or nod of the head, please feel free to take those intuitive movements. And with the eyes open, gazing back toward the feet to encourage that length through the back of your neck. Now gently start to find some stillness through your legs. Reach both heels down to the floor. Take a deep breath in. On your exhale, rise up onto the balls of your feet and ripple the upper body forwards into a high plank, almost moving slowly like a wave. Again, on your exhale, lower both knees down to the floor and take the torso just halfway down and hover through half chaturanga variation. Shoulders draw away from the ears, squeeze the elbows tight to side ribs, take another big inhale, and then exhale with control, lower your upper body all the way down to the mat. This time moving into low cobra. Inhale, lift the heart space, and just float your hands a couple of inches away from the floor. The elbows squeeze into the side ribs, and we're almost drawing the shoulder blades back and together here. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. Take another deep breath in. Exhale, touch the palms down, tuck the toes under, come up and back into downward facing dog. So just starting to warm up our body through our vinyasas. Second round, inhale, ripple forwards into high plank. Now on your exhale, you can either drop the knees or keep them lifted for full chaturanga. Again, come halfway down, pause. Belly draws in. If the knees are lifted, squeeze the inner thighs into center line. Another big inhale. Exhale, coming forwards, either into cobra or rolling over the toes for upward facing dog. Thighs and shins are lifted. Exhale, tuck toes, downward facing. Have that sense that the heart space is traveling back toward the thighs. Final round, inhale, come forwards into high plank. Draw in the belly, press through the palms. Exhale, coming through half or full chaturanga. Again, hovering the heart space halfway, pause, elbows hugging into side ribs, belly drawing in, neck is long. Inhale, coming forwards, moving into cobra or up dog, looking toward the end of your nose. Exhale, tuck toes, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Exhale, relax your neck. Next, inhale, stretch your right leg toward the ceiling, three-legged dog, and then bend the right knee to find an opening through the hip. Imagine that right heel is weighted and moving back toward your left butt cheek. Take another big inhale, and on your exhale, draw your right knee to right elbow, round forwards. See if you can take your knee slightly higher than the elbow, really hugging in toward the armpit. Inhale, stretch right leg up
toward the sky. Exhale, take your right knee to left elbow this time. Cross it over the body, really drawing in the tummy. Again, see if you can take your knee just slightly higher than your elbow. Inhale, right leg high. And exhale, step your right foot all the way between your hands and lower your back knee down for low lunge. So as you breathe in, the arms reach up above the head. As you exhale, you're squeezing into your bottom and you're just allowing your hips to sink a little bit lower. So finding a nice opening for left hip flexor, strengthening for the right quad, and also starting to open up into the glutes as well. Keep them switched on, keep the bottom squeezing in. Inhale, take hold of left wrist with right hand, stretch up, and then exhale, take a side stretch toward the right. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Feel the adductors, the inner thighs hugging into the center line to stabilize you here. Another big breath in. Exhale, rise up to the top. Release your left hand down to the floor. Keep the right arm reaching up toward the ceiling. Tuck the back toes, lift the left knee away from the floor and revolve the heart space toward the sky. Option to look up toward the top thumb. Slide the shoulders away from the ears. Easy twisting lunge. Deep breath in. Full breath out. One more. See if you can revolve the heart space a little bit further. Now exhale, right hand comes to the inner edge of the front foot. We're going to swivel onto the left heel and allow our bottom to come all the way down to the floor. So here, I'm going to take myself around so that you can see. The sole of the right foot is grounded. We're taking hold of the right ankle with the left hand, inhaling, reaching all the way up and over with the right hand into a side stretch. Now flex through the left toes so that there's less space for you to reach to, and perhaps eventually you'll be able to grab hold of the top of the foot. But forget about that. Think more about revolving your heart space up toward the ceiling, breathing into your side stretch. So if it's okay for the neck, looking up underneath the right armpit. Good, one more deep breath in. And then exhale, allow the right arm to draw you all the way up to the top. Now take the hands down to the floor, curl under the back toes, step back into high plank. Moving through your vinyasa with control. So as you exhale, releasing down toward the mat. As you inhale, moving forwards into cobra or up dog, and exhaling back to downward facing dog. Maybe turning the gaze up to the belly button now, keeping the back of the neck super long. Inhale, left leg reaches high. Bend your left knee to open up through your hip. Again, think about taking the left heel toward the right buttock. Exhale, left knee, left elbow, draw forwards. Pause there, hover. Try and get your left knee slightly higher than the line of the elbow. Exhale, lift the left leg up into three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee, right elbow, take it across the body. Again, see if you can take your knee slightly higher than your elbow. Inhale, left leg high, three-legged dog, and then exhale, step your left foot between your hands for the second side. Low lunge, drop the back knee down, and then breathe in to stretch your arms up alongside your ears. Exhale, squeeze into your bottom, and allow your hips to sink low. A sense that your pubic bone is reaching down toward the front heel. Deep breaths in. Squeeze into your bottom as you exhale. Relax the shoulders. Okay, on your next out breath, take right hand to the floor, left arm reaches to the sky, open the chest, and then curl under the back toes and lift the right knee for easy twisting lunge. Inhale, slide the shoulder blades away from the ears, and exhale, revolve your heart space to sky. Turn your drishti up toward the left thumb. Full breaths in, full breaths out. One more. Good, lower your left hand to the inner edge of your left foot. Again, we're going to spiral onto the right heel to sit the bottom down toward the floor. I'll bring myself around again. So taking hold of the left ankle this time with the right hand, breathing in to stretch your left arm alongside your ear, exhaling into your side stretch. So try to ensure that you're looking underneath the left armpit, and this will encourage the direction of opening chest to sky. If we look down to floor, we're more likely to be rounding down toward the mat. Right toes are active. We're drawing up through the right kneecap. One more deep inhale. And then exhale, spiral your hands down to the mat. Curling under the back toes, step back into high plank and take it through your vinyasa in time with your breath. Good, arriving back in downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg toward the ceiling. Bend your knee to open up through your hip. Look forward, step your right foot between your hands. This time rising up into high lunge. Stretch your arms up alongside the ears. Exhale, soften into the back knee slightly and draw in through the belly. From here, coming into cactus arms, bending both elbows, making right angles through the upper arms. Deep inhale to center of chest. Now exhale, draw the shoulder blades back and together. Have a sense of sliding them down your back and then lift up through the center of your sternum. Maybe taking your gaze up toward the ceiling slightly, but keeping the back of the neck nice and long. Now feel the strength of your legs working here. One more deep breath in. Exhale, hands touch down to floor, step back to your high plank and move through your vinyasa in time with your breath. From downward facing dog, on your next inhale, stretch left leg to sky. Bend your knee to open through your hip and then look forwards and step your left foot between your hands. High lunge, soften into the back knee as you rise. Exhale, draw in the belly and curl under your tailbone. Good, cactus arms. Inhale, bend through the elbows. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades back and together and start to draw them down the back toward the waist. Heart space lifts up high. You might be looking up toward the ceiling, but try to keep the back of your neck nice and long. Inhale to inner thighs, squeezing them to center line. And exhale, hands touch down to the floor. Step back to high plank. Take it through your vinyasa in time with your breath, no quicker. So each time we move with our breath, we're moving mindfully as though this is a moving meditation. Inhale, right leg to sky. Bend your knee to stack your hips. Look forward, step right foot between your hands, and again, rise up into high lunge. From high lunge, ground your back heel down to the floor, split the arms, finding your way into warrior two. Now this time, turn your gaze toward the right fingertips. Sink nice and low into the front knee. Now let's think about what's going on in the legs here. Press through the outer edge of the front foot to lift up through the inner arch. Back leg is nice and straight and steady. Take one more big breath in. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the floor. Find your way back into high plank and then use the whole of your out breath to lower, really controlling the movement. Inhale, look toward the sky as you open your chest to cobra or up dog, and then breathe out into downward facing. Now, can you come back to your anchor of your breath, particularly if your thoughts are starting to run wild? Inhale, left leg reaches high. Bend your knee to open through your hip. Look forwards, left foot between your hands. Rise up into high lunge, arms high. Exhale, ground the back heel, split the arms into warrior two. Turn your gaze toward left fingertips, sink nice and low into the front knee. Now press through the outer edge of the front foot. Feel the inner arches lifting up and away from the floor. And get back into your breath. Shoulders soften. Jaw is relaxed. There's energy reaching out through each of your hands. Inhale. Exhale, spiral your hands down to the mat. Step back to high plank. Use the length of your exhale to lower. Tuck chin to chest so the neck is long. Inhale, press the tops of the feet into the mat as you lift the chest. Exhale, back into downward facing dog. Take a cleansing inhale and a full out breath. Breathe in, right leg to sky. Bend your knee to open your hip. Look forward, step right foot between your hands. High lunge, rise up. Exhale, warrior two, ground the back heel and open up through the arms. From here, moving to side angle pose. Legs remain the same. Right forearm moves to the thigh and the left arm lengthens up alongside the ear. Create a line of energy from your left fingertips to the outer edge of your left foot. And now turn the gaze underneath the left armpit. So again, we're trying to really revolve the heart space toward the ceiling. Where your gaze goes, your energy flows. So think about that opening up toward the sky. Now, I want you to keep that integrity in the upper body. And if you want to take this deeper, you may want to take your fingertips of your right hand down to the floor or a block, or maybe even coming into a bind by wrapping the left hand behind your back and reaching for opposite fingertips. Regardless of where you are, think about lifting the chest away from the front thigh, revolving heart space to sky. Legs are nice and strong. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, look down, hands touch down to floor, step back to high plank. Really active legs as you lower, squeeze the thighs together. Inhale, draw the shoulders away from the ears, sternum forwards. Exhale, back into downward facing dog. Breathe in, left leg high. Bend your knee to open your hip. Look forwards, left foot between your hands, high lunge, reach up. Exhale, warrior two, ground the back heels, split the arms. Side angle, left forearm to thigh, right arm alongside the ear. Create that line of energy through the right hand side of your body. Turn your gaze under the right armpit to revolve heart space to ceiling. Deep breath in, full breath out. If you took it deeper on the first side, left fingertips either touch down to the floor or maybe you're taking yourself into a bind. Think about lifting the heart space up, revolving chest to ceiling, looking up toward the sky. Legs are so strong here. One more big breath in. Exhale, look down, hands to floor, step back, high plank. Moving with breath, exhale to lower. Maybe even closing off the eyes as you come forwards into your back bend, exhaling back into downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. Bend your knee to open through your hip. Look ahead, step right foot between your hands, come up, high lunge. Exhale, warrior two, ground the back heels, split the arms. Side angle, right forearm to thigh, left arm reaches alongside the ear, gazing underneath your armpit. Now exhale, take your left fingertips down to the floor on the inner edge of the front foot and come onto the ball of your back foot. Gently lower the left knee down to the mat. Inhale, stretch your left arm high. Exhale, twisting, left elbow over right knee. Hands can come into prayer at heart center, pressing the hands together to turn through your chest a little bit further. Now you may want to stay here. If you want to up level, you could take a bind. Right hand comes behind, left hand comes underneath, reaching for opposite fingertips. You might want to curl under the back toes and lift the left knee away from the floor. So this is a tricky balance here. Again, wherever your gaze rests, make sure that it's just on one still spot in front of you. And then come back to your breath. Notice that if the eyes are darting around the room, we tend to feel a lot more wobbly. So just keep the gaze on that one spot and breathe as deeply as you can. Well done. Look down, hands to floor, step back, high plank, take it through your vinyasa, or if you're cooked, you can come straight back to downward facing dog. Have a resting breath there. Deep breath in, full exhale. Inhale, left leg high. Bend your knee to open through your hip. Look ahead, step your left foot between your hands. High lunge, rise up. Exhale, warrior two. Side angle, left forearm to thigh, right arm alongside your ear. Look underneath your armpit. Exhale, right hand to the floor on the inner edge of the front foot. Come up onto the ball of your back foot and lower the right knee. Inhale, stretch your arms high. Exhale, right elbow over left knee to twist. So take it stage by stage, there's no rush here. Firstly, hands coming to press towards one another, turning through the heart space. If you're coming slightly deeper, maybe you're reaching the left hand behind you, right fingertips to floor, or you're reaching for your bind. If you're taking the back knee away from the floor, curl under the back toes and lift the back knee. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. The deeper you breathe into the belly here, the more opportunity that you have to massage out those internal organs. Really vital for stimulating our digestive system. Good, turn your gaze to the floor, hands touch down, step back into your high plank. Breathing out, moving through your full or half chaturanga. Inhaling forwards into your back bend. This time as you exhale, come back into child's pose. Bottom to heels, forehead to floor. So taking an opportunity here just to reconnect with your breath. Notice how the pace or the quality of the breath may have changed slightly since the beginning of our practice today. See if you can start to control the length of your out breaths once more. Maybe taking your restriction into the back of the throat so that you can hear the breath passing through. Good. On your next inhale, start to curl under your toes. Find your way back into downward facing dog. And let's walk the hands back toward the feet to find a forward fold at the back of the mat. So soften into your knees, get your torso and your thighs in contact, and then relax your head and neck so that they just hang down toward the floor. Take your first two fingers and thumbs on each hand and wrap them around your big toes. Breathe in, lengthen through the spine so the chest lifts away from the floor for a moment, and then breathe out, bend your elbows wide, tuck your chin to chest, and think about the weight moving forwards into the balls of the feet rather than the heels. So there's almost this tipping forward slightly, which helps us to get a little bit deeper into our hamstrings. Now turn your gaze toward the belly button so that you can really find as much length through the neck as you can. And the spine should be long and relaxed here. If the legs are straight and the torso is flailing quite far away from the upper body, we're at risk of straining the low back. So keep that soft bend in the knees if needed so that you can really get the torso and thighs in contact. One more full inhale. Exhale, lengthen the arms and lift the chest. And then gently bring your fingertips to your hips and slowly come all the way up to standing. As you arrive there, roll the shoulders away from the ears to open your heart space forwards and step the feet side by side. Take a moment here just to reconnect with your deep breath. On your next inhale, hands to prayer position at heart center. Step your right foot forwards for warrior three. So as the weight transfers into the right foot, the left toes begin to lift up and away from the floor. See if you can keep both hips square to the mat beneath you. Shoulder blades draw back and together. And as the upper body lowers slightly, the back leg will rise. Pointing through the left toes, pulling up through the left thigh, very active in the back leg. From here, coming into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Split the arms, right fingertips to floor, left fingertips reaching up toward the ceiling. If you're feeling a little bit wobbly here, have your drishti, your gaze, down toward the floor. Otherwise, if you want to challenge yourself, look up toward the left thumb. Again, think about how active the legs are in this posture. You can either point or flex through your back toes just so long as your back leg is active, all the way from the top of the thigh to the tips of your toes. Open both hips to side wall. One more big breath in. Exhale, take your top hand down to the mat, squaring your hips toward the floor and move into standing split. So if this is enough for you, keep the heel in line with the hip, otherwise lifting your left foot as high as you can and perhaps even walking your fingertips back toward your front foot. You have the option here to take hold of the right ankle with the right hand, and maybe as you fixate your gaze on one still spot, see if you can bring the left hand to hold as well. Steady gaze, steady mind. One more big breath. Gently release your fingertips down to the floor. Release your left foot alongside your right. Soften into both of your knees and slowly come all the way up into a standing position. As you arrive there, just take a moment to get back into your breath. Good. Step to the back of the mat once more. Hands to prayer position at heart center. Second side. Inhale, left foot forwards, warrior three. So really think about drawing the shoulder blades back in together. As the upper body moves down toward the floor, the back leg will lift just a little bit higher. Both hip points are rounding down toward the mat. Drishti is fixated on one still spot. Good. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Left hand to floor, right arm lifts up toward the ceiling. Now shine both hips and your shoulders toward the side wall. So your whole upper body is in one plane. Either gazing down toward the floor or looking up toward the ceiling. Back leg active. Inhale. Exhale, spiral right hand down to the floor, standing split. Lift up through the right toes a little bit higher. Very, very active through the back leg. Again, you could look down to the floor, fixate your drishti on one still spot and play around with your balance, taking hold of your left ankle with left hand and then maybe with the right hand as well. Good, both hands touch down to the floor. Step your right foot alongside the left, soften into the knees and take a slow and steady spinal roll up to standing. The head is the last thing to arrive. Shoulders draw back and together at the top. Take a moment, deep breath in. Full exhale, let it go. Well done, nice work. So let's step the feet a good mat distance apart now. Turn your toes out and your heels in slightly and we'll move into Malasana, yogic squat. Hands move to prayer at heart center. Deep breath in. Exhale, bend into your knees and sink your bottom down toward the floor. So just go as far as you can. You might be here or you might be able to bring the bottom all the way down toward the heels. And if you're lower in your Malasana, I want you to think about just for a couple of inches, lifting the bottom slightly higher so that you can feel your glutes and your outer hips really, really working. Shoulders draw away from the ears, looking straight ahead. Nice deep breaths. Try not to force the knees wider with the elbows, but you could use a very gentle pressure. Well done. Let's have a little go at crow pose today. So bring your hands down to the floor. Make sure that they're a good shoulder distance apart. I'll come sideways so that you can see. Now from here, lift the bottom up high as though you were coming into a forward bend and see if you can bring the knees into the back of the armpits. They may not want to go there. They may rest onto the backs of the upper arms. Just make sure that they're higher than your elbows. Start to turn your gaze toward the top edge of the mat. Really important to look forwards here. And then see if you can transfer the weight toward the fingertips and eventually lift your toes up and away from the floor. And it could be that you're just hovering one foot away and then switching sides. or it might be that you're lifting both. And if you can lift both, see if you can take your heels as high as possible towards the bottom, and you'll feel the hips will move higher. And then if you're exploring from there, see if you can start to lengthen out through your arms. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. One more. Well done. Lower the heels down to the floor. Take a moment in your malasana, maybe interlace the fingers and just take a little revulsion for the wrists. And give them a shake. And release. Take the bottom down to the floor. Stretch your legs out in front. Now, if you're feeling quite rounded in your low back, you might want to pop a block or maybe even a cushion underneath your seat just to lift the hips slightly higher. Take a bend into the knees, and let's just take a very nice restorative forward fold. So take hold of either the outer edges of your feet, or if you can't quite reach them, take hold of your ankles. Tuck your chin to chest. And from here, you're going to shuffle the bottom backwards, the heels forwards, until you move into your variation of a forward fold. So what's most important here is that the upper body and the low body are completely sandwiched one on top of the other. So if you start to move to a space where your upper body is rounded and lifting away from the thighs, then just bend your knees to reconnect the upper and low body. And breathe. I think we think, or it's thought widely, that we only stretch the hamstrings when the legs are completely straight. But actually, when we do that and the upper body's lifted away from the thighs, as I said earlier, we're pulling into the low back. So it's really important to encourage that length through the back body. We're still stretching the hamstrings, even though the legs aren't completely poker straight. One more deep inhale. And exhale, look forwards, reach through the fingertips, rise all the way up. Gently take your hands down to the floor, either sides of your hips. So if you're sat on something, a cushion or a block, just slide it out from under your seat for a moment. I'd like you to bring the soles of your feet flat to the floor, just a little further forwards in that line of your knees, and the hands to the mat behind you. So the hands roughly line up underneath the shoulders. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Take a deep breath all the way down into your low belly. And on your exhale, press the soles of the feet into the floor and lift up through your hips. So you're making a tabletop shape. You want to be able to comfortably rest your cup of tea on your belly button without spilling it. So really maintain that lift up through the hips and squeeze through the bottom here. So active glutes really helping us to stay steady. Now you can either look forwards so the chin is tucked to chest, or if you're feeling a little bit more confident and it feels okay for the neck, drop the head back and gaze toward the wall behind you. Couple more big breaths. Keep pressing down through the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet to keep your hips lifted. And when you're ready, gently tuck your chin to chest first off, and then sit your bottom down to the floor. Well done. Once the bottom touches down, reach your hands forwards and start to float your feet away, moving into Navasana, boat pose. If it feels too much to have the arms alongside, you could hold on to the backs of your thighs. And if you're wanting an extra challenge, try to see how it feels to straighten out through the legs, really pulling up through the kneecaps, pointing the toes. The main thing here is about building strength in the hip flexors. So we're trying to draw the chest and thighs as close to one another as we can. So try and keep the upper back lifting. For 3, 2, and 1. Stretch your left leg out along the floor. Take hold of the outer edge of your right foot with your left hand, or if you can't grab it, maybe take hold of the ankle instead. Press the foot into your hand. The leg doesn't have to be super straight here. And then breathe in to reach your right arm out behind you, finding a twist. If you're feeling a little bit wobbly, you can bring the right fingertips down to the floor. Otherwise, lengthen the right arm out in line with the left, and perhaps see if you can take your gaze back towards your right thumb. Deep breaths in, full breaths out. Inhale, come back to center, bend your knees, find your Navasana once more. Really lift up through the back body, second side. So the right leg extends out along the floor, the right hand takes hold of the left foot or ankle. And then before you do anything else, you want to press the foot into the hand. And as you do that, you'll feel the back lengthening and lifting up. So don't worry if the left leg isn't totally straight. Left arm reaches toward the wall behind you. You're opening up through the chest, revolving through the torso, and you may even be bringing your left fingertips down to the floor. If you're feeling a little bit wobbly, just do what feels best for you today. Soften shoulders from ears. See if you can move your gaze, your drishti, toward the back thumb. Excellent job. Facing all the way forwards, well done. Take the soles of the feet to the floor, scoot your bottom up the mat slightly so there's more space for you to roll down, and then take a slow and steady spinal roll all the way down onto your back. And when you arrive there, hug both of your knees into your chest and take a gentle rock from left to right. Just massaging the back body into the floor. Well done. Find some stillness. Place the soles of your feet flat to the mat, hip distance apart. The heels are close toward the bottom. So as you stretch your fingertips down toward the heels, you should be able to tap the tips of your middle fingers on the backs of your heels. Taking it through 2 rounds of bridge pose, wheel, or one of each, depending on what feels right for your body today. I'll talk you through 1 bridge and 1 wheel, and then you just take it to where you want to go. So let's just all start by taking a deep breath into our belly. On an exhale, press down into the soles of your feet and lift up through your hips. If you're coming straight into Urdhva Dhanurasana, feel free. Otherwise, see if you can just wiggle the shoulder blades a little bit further underneath you to lift the sternum a little bit further up toward the chin. And you can either keep the arms resting along the floor. If you want an extra stretch for your shoulders, interlace your fingers, press your forearms into the ground so that you get an even deeper lift up through the chest. And think about the activation in your legs, inner thighs squeezing into center line. Maybe you're energetically dragging your heels back toward your shoulders. Big breaths in, full breaths out. Take 2 more here. Good. Gently release the hands. Slowly bring yourself down to the mat with control. And once your bottom touches down, walk the feet out mat width apart and let your knees knock together. You might like to bring your hands onto your belly for a moment. And again, close your eyes. Allow that attention to travel inwards, noticing the sensations that you're experiencing and connecting you with your rhythm of breath. Okay, let's take our second round. So you can stay with the first bridge variation, or I'll talk you through Urdhva Dhanurasana full wheel. So the feet come again, hip distance apart, heels are close toward the bottom. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, press down through the soles of the feet, lift up through your hips. Now you're either staying here for bridge or taking the hands either side of the head, pressing the palms into the floor and coming onto the top of the head first of all. Now you can either rest there, pressing through the hands so that there's no weight traveling through the neck, or you're pressing into the palms of the hands, stretching your heart space toward the wall behind you to really open up through your upper back and your thoracic spine, gazing straight forwards. Nice deep breaths here. Now try not to forget about the work in your legs. So there's still a sense of squeezing into the center line through the thighs. There's still a sense of pressing the heels into the mat to make sure that the hips are lifted. 2 more full breaths. And then when you're ready, come up onto the balls of the feet, gently and slowly lower yourself all the way down to the floor. And as you find your way there, feet are mat distance, knees knocked together. Allow the arms to stretch out in line with the shoulders. Inhale through the nose and breathe out through the mouth a few times. Allow the energy in your body to settle. Good, and then closing the lips, coming back to breathing in and out through your nose. Gently draw the right knee into the chest, stretch your left leg out along the floor. Maybe you're drawing that right knee slightly closer toward the armpit, and now when you're ready, coming into a twist. So using the left hand to guide the right knee across your body, stretching the right arm out alongside your shoulder, and maybe even turning your gaze toward the right fingertips. Keep the backs of your shoulders heavy on the mat. Unclench your jaw. Allow the length of your next inhale to draw you back up to the center and switch sides. So draw the left knee into your chest, stretch your right leg out along the floor. Take a moment to just gently encourage the left knee slightly closer toward the left armpit, and then use your right hand to guide your left knee all the way across your body into a supine twist. The backs of your shoulders are heavy on the mat, and you might be even looking toward your left fingertips here. So giving your spine a few moments to unravel. Start to let go of your deep belly breathing or your ujjayi breath. Just come back to that natural rhythm. And feel your heartbeat starting to slow down to its natural pace. And then breathing in, coming all the way back up to center and releasing into final Shavasana, final relaxation. So if you have any discomfort in your low back, soles of feet together, knees wide, Supta Baddha Konasana. Otherwise, you can lengthen your legs out along the floor, arms wide or hands on the heart space or the belly. Just choose whatever works best in your body today. And just let go. Allow your physical body to grow heavier and heavier and heavier. And just watch that natural rise and fall of the breath. Each time your mind wanders, just coming back to that observation. Give yourself the time and space to completely relax. So if you have longer for your Shavasana, for your relaxation today, I welcome you to just stay here for as long as you possibly can and soak it up. But if you know that you need to be making your way, just start by drawing your attention into your hands and feet, and then gradually introducing some small movements. It might be a wiggle through the fingers and toes, maybe a rotation through the wrists and the ankles. And eventually reach your arms above your head, stretch your legs out along your mat, take a full body stretch. Draw the knees into your chest. Roll yourself over to one side. And then take your time to come up into a comfortable seat.
And as you get there, you can keep the eyes closed, bring the hands to prayer position at your heart center, and just let your chin bow into the chest. Bringing your attention back to your intention for your practice. Sealing in the energy, the prana that we have created with the sound of Om. When you're ready, breathe in through your nose. With gratitude to you for joining me for our practice today, bring your prayer hands up to the space between your eyebrows and lengthen up nice and tall. Peace in your thoughts. Take your prayer hands in front of your lips. Peace in your words and in front of your heart. Peace in your actions.